Victor, and I might be the gringo in the group, and I'm like, this dude is either a Norican or a Puerto Rican. How did he get into African art?
Oh, bro, Puerto Rican, full Puerto Rican, born and raised over there. Got into African art because of Santeria. Santeria is Yoruba.
Really?
Yeah.
I know
It's
Santeria.
Yoruba tradition, but in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So, in the Caribbean, they do the syncretism
Yeah.
where the Catholic image is behind each deity. But I want to go further. I want to learn more about the roots. And that's how I start to learn, because in the Caribbean, they use a lot of shrine. It's like Catholic image, and that's the truth,
Yeah.
But I always like, what's behind? Because one of the deities, Shango, in Cuba, they represent him with Saint Barbara.
Oh, weird.
So you see, so I was like, if I did my initiation, because I did initiation, at 19 years old, crazy, right? But I did all that stuff young. So I was like,
Now, when you say initiation, you mean your Santeria initiation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a process, 7-day process and 1 year of purification. It's not what they say in Hollywood or in the TV. That's crap,
Yeah.
If you learn the right way, it's science and frequencies and numbers. So, but Shango, they represent as a woman, as Saint Barbara. So I was curious. No, in Nigeria, he's the king. He was the king of Oyo.
The king of what?
Oyo. That's a town in Africa, in Nigeria, like a village. And then I start to keep doing my research, and I remove all Catholicism from what is the Yoruba tradition, because we're living in the 21st century. No need to hide. That was
interesting.
Before.
So that's how you got into African art. So have you looked into Brazilian candomblé?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's very interesting. And so you'd appreciate this. So I grew up Pentecostal Christian, and I traveled with Semester at Sea in 2005 for the first time, but I was steeped in Christianity, in Protestant Christianity. And I got invited to, this dude says he's from Oyo.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your buddy?
Yeah. That's my buddy. Yeah.
Okay. So I traveled Semester at Sea, and I got an invite to do a similar ceremony in Kenya with the Maasai warriors and goat blood drinking and all this stuff. And I'm like, I was freaking out. And a mentor told me, don't do that. You're going to get filled with demons. And I was like, well, what are we talking about? And so when you think about deities and you think about God, you're like, wait, does God not know how this God did not know how things work and didn't know that I was curious? So I went ahead and did it. And I had such a good time. It was so fun. And it began to shift my view of religion significantly. And right after that trip, I traveled to Cape Town and did a similar service in Cape Town. And then I traveled to Brazil and did a candomblé service. And I was blown away by it. It was very touching. Then, dude, I worked in Haiti for 5 years.
Sick.
Dude, the voodoo is different than what people think.
Yes.
It's different. Yes. And Papa Guo is their main deity. And I saw similarities across the board. But when you say it's science, I agree, because as a personal development coach, I do this thing that I call bone shaking. It's placebos to get people to be psychologically open to the change they need in their heart. So I don't know about Santeria and I don't know about the nuances, but that's how I've kind of synthesized it all. So I don't know. Is that useful at all?
Hell yeah, I agree. Well, for the people that understand,
Yeah.
because like the way you're saying, right? You went to Brazil to do a ceremony. So let's say you come into my metaverse and I take the pixel chicken, I pass it to you. By placebo, by just by brain, it should work. If you go by real science, because everything is by quantum entanglement.
I agree with that. Well, they call that synchronicity.
Yes.
The law of synchronicity.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about the metaverse, and I didn't realize you were touching on any of this with your NFTs. It would be an interesting metaverse where, you know how you have your profile, your NFT profile, and let's say that I said, well, I'm Christian, and let's say you said you're Santeria, and let's say Jarrett said he was Condomblé or whatever it was. When we go into that metaverse, it would be interesting if the main deities changed based on your belief, but it was the same voice.
Yeah, that would be cool because it's the same guy.
What are you saying, Jarrett?
Jeez, Grant, pass the blunt, dude. My God, you just blew my mind. All I'm picturing is like Robin Williams as the genie, and then in the old school Aladdin, and then it's like, but now he's also Moises, he's Moses, he's
He's
Jesus,
the Will
Muhammad,
Smith Aladdin,
he's all of the deities. Yeah, right. Anyway, sorry, yeah.
But that's the power. I mean, that is the power of some of those environments. So, Victor, so it's not just about African art. That just happens to be what you're doing right now?
Right now I'm full Web3 NFT, but yeah, I start honestly, I start doing spiritual readings and all that type of stuff. Then from there, I have some contact in galleries. So I went to Manhattan and to the galleries and start to learn about the African art, the antique, the real shrines, and the meanings. And then I started making my own collection and selling in opening my eBay store. I opened my eBay store. I start to sell like that was 2008. And then by 2013, I was doing really good.
So you've been in NFTs since 2018?
NFT since late 2018. Yeah, early 2019.
That's OG.
In Bitcoin also, I got Bitcoin at 3,500 in 2019. Yeah.
That's all right. Jared, what's your dollar cost average?
Into what?
Bitcoin.
I honestly would have to look. I don't know. Maybe like $2.
This guy, what is
I'm just kidding. You guys all took that seriously. That was really cute.
We have to take you seriously.
It's true. No, I'm not actually sure, but I will look that up and I can get back to you by the end of the show. I wanted to say Victor was on my podcast, and one of the things that he dropped that was like not related to Web3 or NFTs or the AR art he's creating, or how I think he's kind of like the king of phygital, was that going back to his start with eBay. And he didn't drop that data point that he started in 2008, which I think is super cool. Talking about getting on the front end of kind of a new marketplace. 2008. I think that's getting in on the front of a new marketplace. I mean, that's probably at a time where people were still like, oh, I don't know if this thing will work. And he's crushing it. He said on my podcast that he's done 4,000 plus successful eBay transactions.
No, that's just feedback.
Oh, that's just feedback. Right. So that may not even be the transactions. That to me is so impressive. So as far as his, ability to collect, curate, and then interchange with other collectors. And when it comes to African art, he's probably, a top guy in the world for having done that much movement. And he was talking to me about, how much he sold and stuff. So if that's just the feedback, how many actual transactions have you done on eBay? And for everyone watching, welcome Web3 NFTs, but we're also going to talk about some IRL stuff like eBay. Victor,
and Santeria.
Victor, how many actual transactions have you done on eBay with African art pieces?
So honestly, I start 2008 and then I have to close it because divorce. So in 2016, I closed it. So it was I used to sell over 40 pieces a week.
40 pieces. And most of this was African art.
Everything was African art. Everything.
Dang.
Mass, figures. I used to do auction, the buy now section. And as soon you establish the reputation, because the good of eBay that this is what is missing in Web3 is the feedback area, the reviews.
The thing missing in Web3 is the feedback area. How do you mean?
Because if I sell you a fake, you think people would put, this is fake, nyama nyama. African guys, what nyama nyama mean? That's garbage.
What does that mean?
What is that?
What does it mean?
Yeah, for the non-African, can we get a subtitle there, Victor?
So that's like poop. Let's say like a poop.
Okay.
Like
how do I spell it?
Oh, that you got me. I just that by ear.
So Jamarly wants to know where do you get the artwork from?
So at the beginning, I was buying in galleries in Manhattan, in different galleries.
Okay.
And then, like any regular business, because remember, 2008 is early in eBay, so you can buy something in the gallery anywhere in Manhattan. And you can put it online, and somebody from Switzerland, from Australia, from Israel. So I was selling all over. Then from the same going back and forward to the gallery, then I met guys that bring good pieces to the country, because it's a lot of private collectors and also private dealers. That they come, and if you have the good contact, they call you. I got this piece. You want to come see? And then you go private, like private sessions, and give me everything. Because pay cash, you get the price at the good price.
So go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, Grant, I'm sorry. I got a question for Victor on this, on the selling of art. Have you sold art in Bitcoin? And if you haven't, are you seeing that global collectors are starting to use Bitcoin or Ethereum or any type of cryptocurrency to be able to make these sales? As art is a physical commodity that can be bought and sold. I'm wondering, you're saying, people use cash. I'm wondering if the new way to exchange the value is over Bitcoin. And now that we have the Bitcoin Lightning Network, in my head, that's, I think, where it might go.
So I since I start NFT, that's when I start doing the trading, right? Do you guys do trading with leverage or no? So when I start to do trade, you see, you gotta put your feet in the fire a little bit. Sometimes it's a good burn. You're gonna be happy. So I start doing that.
A good burn.
Yeah. No,
a good burn. That sounds like 90% of the people getting off a Carnival cruise. They're just all red and they're just
it's risky, or depends how you manage. But if you know how to manage that, it's good. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
So I start doing that, and then stop doing African arts, taking a break of spiritual stuff, only taking care of people, close people, but full tech, and only one piece I sold for Ethereum. Like another piece I saw, like 2-3 pieces private, because I got private people. So now I'm not using no more pay. After 2008, I closed everything. So I'm maybe PayPal. That's the only thing I got.
Now I am curious along those lines, Jared. That's a great question. This is to all three of you. The three of you have a much more international network than I do. And so I want to extend this question. Are you finding there's more stuff being done in Bitcoin? Let me broaden that question. Jay has like tons of podcasts. I just saw him post yesterday, like, oh, I did my 450th podcast this week. Here you go. This guy's always doing it. And then obviously there's a very international community in your LinkedIn as well. What is the number one and number two currencies that are being adopted by the international, the African or the Latinx communities? Is it just Bitcoin and Ethereum, or are they getting in anything else?
Jay, go.
Well, in like the Eastern Caribbean, Bitcoin Cash is really popular because
Get out of here.
yeah,
Why?
Roger Ver is a citizen of a bunch of those countries around there, so he's been pushing Bitcoin Cash really hard. Actually, a lot of local companies in those islands accept Bitcoin Cash as payment.
What?
Hmm.
I didn't even realize that was still like on the radar.
Oh yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah.
And
So
he's
what's
like
that name? I don't even know this guy's name. You know this guy's name? Apparently, it's that important. Like,
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
absolutely. Roger Ver. So he's like he even got to the point where he was helping local governments and like the central bank to launch their own central bank digital currencies. So
Bitcoin Cash. I'm gonna have to freaking pull this up, dude.
he's popular.
What's it
Yeah.
at right now? Does anyone know?
No, I'm not sure.
No idea. I think Dash also, right? Dash was popular too.
Jim Marley calls him Bitcoin Jesus. That's funny. I'll have to look that up. Austin is my partner and buddy. Jarrett's met Austin. We're doing an app together. And then he also helps Jesse Eccles' group 0 to a Million in the House of Obsidian. He says most crypto traders consider BCH dead and a dinosaur coin, but it sounds like no. Caribbean, when are they trading, or are they using it is it gravitating towards being just a currency, a medium of exchange, or are they actually like trading it and leveraging it at all, or is it just a currency?
It seems like it's just a currency at the moment.
Okay.
That's the way people use it.
Man, I'm gonna have to freaking look that up. Make sure I buy some junk.
So before you go ahead and buy, let's just say this is not investment or financial advice, but I will say what I heard, and I remember I was in Colombia, in and out of Colombia throughout the last bull market. And in that time, I remember there being like chatter. And when I would talk to people about crypto in Colombia, the question was always, should I buy Ethereum or Ethereum Classic? And then I remember reading an article about how when these things shot up, people who just come into crypto are like, oh, Ethereum Classic must be like Ethereum. I'll buy it. And these sometimes it went 300% in like a week. And the same thing happened for Bitcoin Cash. It's still like, riding, I think, on the fact that the brand is so great. Mm-hmm. Cash is a word everyone understands. And Bitcoin is the leader of the entire market. So I totally agree with what Austin said here, that most crypto traders consider BCH dead. I just generally don't think it solves any problem that Bitcoin already has solved. And Bitcoin has such a bigger network effect that it's like, why would you do this? And in Latin America, the coin that I've seen people really gravitate to as an investment is Cardano. They've fallen into the thing, I think, Grant, where you are too, which is like this dude left Ethereum. They really like the narrative, right? Narratives are at the end of the day, the thing that kind of like guides us in that story. So what I've seen people in Colombia, especially, is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then because I don't really consider Ethereum an altcoin, or dare I say a shitcoin, but it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Cardano would be the third one. And a lot of times I think this also goes to the kind of mental gymnastics that people do. And they're like, oh, Cardano is 30 cents. I'll get 1,000 of them, or I'll get 100 of them. But Bitcoin, I can only get this 0.0000 whatever, because I'm coming from a place like Colombia where, the monthly, your monthly salary is about $330, right? So if somebody has that, even if they save 10% of that, that's $33. When you buy $33 of Bitcoin, it's you're still buying Satoshis, you're buying sats, but it's a smaller amount of sats. Whereas you put that $33 and you get maybe a couple hundred Cardano. There's just kind of a mental thing. So that's what I've seen. And I've also seen the same with VeChain, and VeChain's a larger part of my portfolio.
VeChain is.
Yeah. And we have a ton of comments here. So I don't know if anyone wants to go and look at those.
Well, no, we're bringing them up, and they're actually really timely. So I don't think there's anything we have to circle back on. But so tell me, real quick, let's back up. What is the fundamental or technological difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin? What's the difference?
I don't think there is a difference.
So there's only 21 million. They're mined at the same rate. I mean, there's miners. They're not proof of work. Yeah, we got
million,
that.
And you see right there, there's 19.13, which is roughly the same amount of Bitcoin that's also out. You see the market cap is 2.5 billion. I mean, Bitcoin Cash is
Were
a
they
really
already
fun
just
thing.
issued and there's no mining?
No, there's mining. I think there's mining. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
mining. But
Interesting.
the thing is, like, if you look at this, and once again, they're not financial advice. I don't know if you guys can see this. Sorry, if you're listening on the podcast, it's just audio. So right now, it's a price of $132. But if you look at the
Yes.
high, and this is the 2-year, it went up to $1,500. So it's
see
about
that.
90%, more than 90% down. So I do think in the next bear market, the next bull market, you're going to see the exact same thing happen. Ethereum Classic and Bitcoin Cash are going to have their days in the sun. So
Yeah.
while not financial advice, something
Yeah.
you could do, and that maybe we'll do when we start to, play our fantasy bowl, and we can talk maybe a little bit more about that, is put in whatever money you're comfortable losing into
Yes.
Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash and literally put a sell when it goes 20x. Because I do think Bitcoin Cash, the high was what, 1,500? Let me just check the all-time. Oh no! Oh, the all-time was 2,800. So it's freakishly on sale, and I do believe it will probably smash through that if you are a Bitcoin maxi and you do believe that Bitcoin is going to do what it's going to do, just on the brand alone. And now hearing that people are really loving it in the Caribbean, I mean, there's no reason why.
That's interesting.
I think it will crack 5,000 is my point, and it's really cool to see people talking about VeChain. It's just my Italians over in Italy are all about VeChain. VeChain is a super cool product, and I actually have a guy who's pretty high up in VeChain in the United States. And
I don't know anything about VeChain.
Yeah, it's a supply chain management blockchain.
A supply chain management blockchain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to help whatever people are trying to move around the earth, just put it on blockchain. And I think the supply chain, I remember last time I was like a huge, like multi-trillion dollar market cap of overall supply chain activity. And then you just extrapolate out, okay, if it gets 1% or it gets 2% or whatever. But I've gotten into VeChain for a while, and I got in because this guy works there, and he's like, hey, you need to look at this. And this is a while back. And so it's part of my DCA plan for sure. But it's also one of those things that people, heavily use in the fashion industry as well, to be able to follow garments all the way, to be able to prove that, hey, this was made by so-and-so, etc.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and also environmentally sustainability. The other thing is in the top 30 or 40, it's also one of the cheaper coins. So it kind of goes back to those mental gymnastics where you feel great because you can pick up 1,000 of these bad Larrys, because right now they're about 2.5 US cents.
Do y'all think that there is a barrier to Bitcoin and Ethereum because people are used to thinking in smaller denominations? We know about Satoshis. Not everyone else knows about Satoshis. Ethereum doesn't have a correlate. Do you think it's purely a psychological thing where people are like kind of scrambling for smaller denominations because of is it all psychology from that regard, you think?
Yeah.
I see Victor nodding. Yeah. No?
No, I go for the 100x, bro. It's true.
I go for the 100x, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can give you a list. It's just when you're gonna get them. Maybe because remember, for you to do the same, to make money in Bitcoin, same like people from 2008 to 2017, is impossible. That's the main reason people like, oh, Bitcoin million. No, your plane is gone. You need to enter. You need to enter in the next halving, and then by the next halving, maybe you'll be able to make 5-10x.
Interesting. So you like VeChain and Cardano because they're lower priced. You can buy more of them, and you're hoping for the next rally. It's speculation.
No, I don't got Cardano. I give my Cardano to my daughter. I bought it for 2 pennies. So I give it to my daughter. Yeah, and I told her,
play money.
Yeah, bro. But because you gotta understand this, the big boss is Bitcoin and ETH. Nobody's gonna destroy them. You
don't think so?
The other one, like Jared was saying, somebody like example Hedera, they manage huge data. Huge.
Yes.
Nobody talk about them. Some people, but I make good money too with Hedera too. So, and it's back, no financial advice. It's like 6 cents. So it's a potential that from 6 it went to 35 last time. So it's like 5x easy. But if you do your research, and it's how you manage your portfolio. Go big with the secure, and then you can, instead of going to the casino, this is the way I look. Instead of going to the casino, I stop going to the casino. Let me buy a cheap coin.
A cheap coin. That's so funny. So you've been in since 2018. You got Bitcoin when it was at 3,500. What is your average hold time? Are you buy and hold everything, or do you trade?
No, I don't go. I trade, bro. Because why you gonna hold it? You can. I understand the holder, they want to hold Bitcoin, but why you want to hold Bitcoin when you was able to sell it for 55 to, don't say 63, 55, and then you can rebuy 3 more now. So it doesn't make sense to hold it. You gotta make the move, because same with Ethereum. If you sold Ethereum at 3,000 a month ago, you was able to get 3.
Yeah. Now, Jay, you never talk about your holdings. Do you hold any crypto?
I got some.
He only holds cash. He just loves holding cash. He's sitting on a pile of cash right now.
sitting on a pile of cash, 100%. But no, I
Canadian silver dollars.
exactly.
But that's good, bro.
But you know, like for me, we were talking about this before. I don't remember if it was online or offline, but I prefer to invest in myself. You know, like there were chains that I believe in, and so I've invested in those chains, and I'm a holder. Like I just leave it. I don't even look at it. Maybe like every 6 months, I'll go back and see what the price is. Like, okay, maybe it's up, maybe it's down. It doesn't matter. I believe in that chain, so I'll leave it there. But for the most part, I invest in myself.
But you gotta accept that because I hold too, and then I'm like, I'm holding the KCC pad. So that's a KuCoin.
Oh, KuCoin, yeah.
But not KuCoin pad. So I bought it cheap, like $300. It went to almost 3 Gs. I played the holder game, and now it's like, oh shit, I should sold it that day, you know. So everybody have the same, but it's emotional, like Jared said. Everything is in trading. Everything is emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
you know, people talk about dollar cost averaging, and the idea is, as it's going down, you buy the same dollar amount, and that you should have ever increasing quantities of that coin. And then when it rallies, you're rich, so to speak. But what they always forget to tell you is that you should dollar cost average your sales too. You take profits.
Take profits on the way up.
Take profits, man.
Yeah.
But Jared, you're a long holder. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm holding forever. Like you don't sell Bitcoin. Have you sold your other stuff and tried to trade it?
Yeah, so here's a really weird story. I got into I think I've told this story maybe before, but I had like $100 in my Robinhood account, and I just don't like cash sitting on my account. So I bought a bunch of Dogecoin. I was like, this is a funny joke. And I bought it at a half of a cent. So then when it went to 70 cents, it was like $9,500 from $100, right? That's stupid. That's that 100x launch pad where, you know, Victor's like Mario, he hits the mushroom and he just like grows up. So I remember being like, this is so dumb. I feel like this is illegal. And I haven't sold until I went down. This was like the biggest mistake. But I mean, when I sold, it didn't matter. I still was in crazy profit because like, but I bought the domain burymewithmydoge.com. And then the next day I FOMO'd out of Doge and sold at 22 cents.
Did you sell the domain too?
Well, the domain actually just came up last week, and it was like, do you want to like re-up? And I said no. And it was actually worth like $80 or something, but I didn't even want to go through the hassle of selling. If you are on GoDaddy, you can go buy burymewithmydoge.com. But anyways, I sold my Doge, and I also had taken Ethereum off, and then I lost a good amount of Ethereum in whatchamacallit, in Wonderland. But I really haven't sold. Oh, and then I did sell my XRP when I saw the SEC thing. I was like, I don't want to be holding this. If the US government doesn't want to play with it, the second that happens, I don't want to hold it unless it's Bitcoin. unless it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one that's outside of that because I think that the US government knows they can't shut it down. So anyways, I have sold a little bit, but I've sold such a small portion of my overall portfolio. I'm just like Jay. I buy it and I don't even think about it. Like I'm totally buffeting this. Like if you're not going to hold something for 10 years, my theory is don't buy it because that means you actually don't have conviction and you actually haven't read about it or looked into it or talked to somebody or found someone at, if it's not Bitcoin, the foundation that works with it, or you don't see a use case. Other than that, I think it's just gambling. But now whenever I go buy a casino, I'm going to think of Victor and I'm just going to, instead of seeing casino, I'm just going to see like shitcoin. So
yeah, or play with Fimex, play with leverage because it's the same and you got more possibility to make money trading with leverage than the casino. The chances is way. You make the numbers, bro. I used to go to the casino. That's why I know it's better to play in Fimex than in the casino.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So right now, where the market it is, you prefer if you got $1,000 to put it in a coin or put it in an NFT?
Should we all answer? Jay, you want to go first?
Everyone answer, yeah.
I would say if it in one coin versus one NFT, I'd say it's the coin that probably rallies first.
I think there's a weird psychology to NFTs. I'm going to say the NFT.
I think it obviously depends. I think we almost need like a specific example, right? Like Bored Ape Yacht Club or Bitcoin, because just saying, what would you rather buy, a coin and there's 19,000 or an NFT?
Goblin
like
Town.
50 billion. Yeah. Like there's like 70 billion of these things. You can create them on, coin, OpenSea with your eyes closed. I would probably, it depends what you want, right? Can I not touch it for 10 years? Then I'm going to go with a coin. Can I sell it tomorrow? Maybe I get an NFT, but I think it really depends. But what would you, Victor, if you had between CryptoPunks here, I'm going to give you this, CryptoPunks and Bitcoin, which one would you go for?
That's a different one, right? That's for more.
You posed the question.
Yeah, you that's for question, more. Victor.
No, I like it. I like it because you have different people with different mindsets. So somebody that wants security, each of both, he will go with it, right? But let's say right now in the market, if I'm gonna buy Ethereum, I'm not buying Ethereum. I rather buy NFT to donation project because the value of ETH is so low that it drags all the good projects down. So you have projects that was for 1 ETH now in 0.3 example, and ETH is in 1500, rounded. So shows you buy the NFT thinking you're investing in ETH go back to 4Gs, you're doing the same if you bought ETH. But now, as the moment the NFT start to move, you got 1x, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On the NFT?
On the NFT. He's saying relative to ETH because the price, because not only will the price of the ETH, the price of the NFT in ETH appreciate, the ETH is appreciating. This is the thing about, I think, NFTs that is really hard for people to wrap their head around, because normally it's like, okay, I have this thing, right? Here's my diamond. I sell Jay this diamond for $10 US. He's going to wait till it's worth $30 US and then sell it to Victor. So in that case, he's tripled his money, or has had kind of like, 200%. But if Jay can sell this to Victor, this diamond, for $30, but each dollar is now also appreciated 300%. The orders of magnitude increase, and we're not used to that world where the things that we use to trade also can increase, and that's why.
Yes, come on now. So
how so?
Stock options themselves, they are volatile. NFTs are volatile. NFTs don't always, well, I would say this, NFTs actually more frequently reflect the price movement, but you could have, like, let's say you have a call. You guys are familiar with stock options in general?
Yeah.
Jay's deadpanned. Okay.
A little bit.
So basically, Jay, you could make money on stock options if the market goes down. You can't necessarily do that with an NFT. An NFT is attached to positive movement, but it is leveraged. So if I have like there's factors like Victor was saying, 1x, 2x, 3x. So investors are used to a leveraged motion within stocks, but crypto people, Web3 people in general are not TradFi educated. So it is the most leveraged instrument, more so than even lending. Some of the lending is sketchy, but
I'm not talking about leverage. I'm talking about when you sell your stock option, you say, hey, it's going to go, you put a put, it hits that, and then you get paid out, and you put $100 in, and then you get paid out $500. You're still getting paid in dollars. I'm talking about when you get paid back in Ethereum, the Ethereum could be worth more in fiat. The instrument through which you are buying the option has also increased. And that's an order of magnitude that we're not used to. Yeah, which is a little bit different from stock options. Yeah.
No, you totally, yes. Yeah, but the base currency is growing radically more. Go ahead, Victor.
But as you said, it's in the uptrend, logically. Like example, now we was touching bottom in Ethereum.
Yeah.
So imagine Ethereum was 900. Everybody was, because people don't understand the market. We have more flippers than collectors.
Yes.
So everybody was selling because I want to enter with my 980. I can put 20x, bro. You know how much money is that? So, and then you can sweep the floor. You buy more NFT, way more, bro.
Yeah.
That's why they selling the NFT. That's why people is like getting crazy. But why they selling the NFT so cheap? Because I'm gonna trade with leverage, bro. I don't care if I'm losing half 50. I'm gonna make it back quick with leverage. Imagine how many people make crazy money just from 980 to 1600. That's like a 60% off, multiplied by 5 if you want to go conservative 5x.
Interesting. So Tom, go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I want to call out Thomas's comment. And everyone, we're seeing the comments. We're going to try to work them in as we see them. Thomas is a guy who's co-founded, and he was on my podcast with another guy named Adam, and they've co-founded Collabs. And I'll say this publicly for the first time: they're helping me build out my NFT for the podcast, which is super cool. And
awesome.
So I want to talk about Thomas's thing, but you have to worry about ETH going down. Owning the NFT, you have to worry about ETH and the owner bailing or giving up on the project. So while there is potentially on one side where the project price could go up and the price of ETH can go up, the other side of that is it turns into a rug, or the price of ETH goes really down, or as some people think, maybe ETH just doesn't work anymore, and then you really are left holding the bag. And the reason why I want to call it Thomas's comment is that he literally runs a Web3 full stack development agency. So he's on the forefront of this stuff, and they're constantly dealing with this with clients, and these are probably things they talk about. And I know right now their dev does Solidity, but they're definitely looking into Cardano, Solana. They want to be able to offer, different and more diverse products and services. But right now they're definitely doing ETH. So when he talks about this, he's on the forefront of this.
Interoperability, man. Like people, the jury still isn't out. So like, how we were talking when we first started the show so many episodes ago now, 6 episodes ago, not that long ago. We were joking a little bit about how the market's gone quiet. And what we're finding is well, when there's these little micro bull runs, people start talking again, but it's not as cavalier as it was. I'm feeling that a lot of the NFT bros and a lot of the NFT gals are done. Like it's over. Like Victor's got a lot of like juice in the tank, and he's pretty excited about what's coming next. But but Victor's an old school, an OG. He's been there since 2018. He's seen some of these cycles. So let me ask you this, Victor, especially someone super experienced in NFTs, like, do you think it's going to come back ever as strong as the last bull run?
I think it's going to be maybe way much better, because this is like a cleanup. Right now, guys that they was making art in 1 minute to sell it for $500 is gonna be gone, because they gotta go back to McDonald's. So you have a lot of people that the legit people is the one that's gonna stay. The guys that made their name took advantage of the bull run to create their profile and their reputation and to go forward. They gonna stay. But the guy, when you see much people getting crazy about utility, it's because they got nothing. Because if I'm sure of what I got, I don't need to be thinking about utility. Art is utility. So you're gonna see all these new old school artists like the one I'm working. They all retire. They don't need to go back to McDonald's. They just making art, doing real art, good stuff, and they are the one that gonna have the market survive and bringing a good reputation, because NFT is also with bad reputation. My friend got hacked yesterday. John Ole, he's a singer from Nigeria, and so imagine if the good collector get hacked. So the market need a little bit more shaking, but I think it's gonna go back up. And imagine Bitcoin didn't went down the 17. He's holding strong. So you already know is going. That's your face because you go to the past. That's the same face people was putting when Bitcoin from 1,000 went to 300. And I was like, damn, do I buy Bitcoin? I didn't bother because that face, like, nah, it's gonna die. And then, fuck, I will say, my son always tell me that you should buy Bitcoin at 300. Why you didn't do it? Because at that moment, maybe people right now is in the same position. Oh, but from 60 went to 20. Nah, I'm not buying it.
Mhm.
But when the next halving come, you're gonna have less mining, and that's when the game is gonna look interesting.
That's what Jarrett thinks for sure.
Oh, I know
So
because it happened. It happened, bro. It went to
yeah,
3 to 60. How many X is that, bro?
yeah. So my impression, and Jay, correct me on this. He was pointing this out recently. How much institutional money is flowing into the projects that are sticking around? Does everyone? This is to anyone. Do you feel that the next bull run is going to be an institutional push? Oh, look at this. This guy's Kyle just came in and said this literally while I was asking this question.
Yeah.
As long as it's based on real world utility. Now, I would actually agree with you, Victor. Art is utility, but a lot of the stuff that people were launching in the previous NFT bull run, they were trying to say art and functionality and yay, and it's just ticketing. It's just good. It's like access passes. What you're dealing with is niche and specific and has a huge following. And there's a follow-up question I have to that: is are these people that are new to African art, or is this just people that already value it? That would be an interesting question. But I do agree with Kyle here that the next bull run, because it has institutional money, you're going to see more practical, broader based technologies that actually apply to something. But this might be where we quit talking about NFTs except as art. And that's what I'm hoping for. But so I guess this leads to my question. Do you feel this next bull run, you said it's going to get even better. Do you think this next bull run is going to be the institutional bull run where these projects have institutional money? Or do we still have some underground players or underground moves to make where we're still making a bunch of money here and there? Is it the institutional people or no?
I think it's gonna be a combination of both, because Web3 give you the freedom to get straight to your fan or to your collector. That's why institutions are trying to get ahead in the game, because they don't want people to get direct connection with the way Web3 is given. They want to have the control like always. So example, if you are a designer and you can make good NFT, good wearable, good stuff, why you want to work for Prada and be as an employee? So but that's all depend in the individual. If the person want to work for the brand, so he's gonna be Web2 getting his check. If he want to have freedom, go Web3, go directly to your audience, to your fans, and the space is the limit. you don't got no. It's This is revolutionary. That's why Web3 is so good. You can go individual. You don't need institution. But I think they making the move. They like which one with the CryptoPunks jewelries. I forgot the name. Prada.
Yeah, Tiffany's. You're talking about Tiffany's. When Tiffany's came out with that, CryptoPunks movement on chain went up 284% in the last 24 hours, just because Tiffany's came out and they're like, "Yo, we're gonna play with CryptoPunks," bringing their like brand to CryptoPunks, which is quite crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be parallel. It's like any business, bro. The smart people is the one that gonna be in the game. If you followers gonna be followers, leader are gonna be leader. Web2, Web3, Web5, everywhere. So,
I do agree with that. Tomas says the next bull run will bring a nice adoption, not the mass adoption yet, but it will allow people to understand what's going on without confusing onboarding Web 2 to Web 3. That's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about entrepreneurship. So I am a crypto fanboy. Victor, you may or may not know this about me. I've owned Bitcoin since 2011. And I got it originally at $800. And I sold like a genius at 2,000 and then at 3,000, and I was the smartest guy on the planet, right? And I didn't hold on like I should have, which is why I'm such a strong holder now. But I think a lot about entrepreneurship. I have a few businesses. All I see in crypto right now is what happens in any industry. There's nothing going on with crypto that is unique to Web3 or crypto at all. What I'm seeing is that it's a new industry. It's a new tech. You could call it Blu-ray. You could call it whatever. And a lot of people swarm. And this one empowers a lot of people. This one does empower a lot of people. The barrier to entry was very low. So a lot of people swarmed. And especially as it came to art. And I'm putting that in air quotes for the podcast because it's not really art. You're an artist. You've seen art. A lot of this was just junk. So the barrier to entry was very low. So the market took a shit. And that's when you realize someone wants the responsibility of entrepreneurship. So because right now, you're right, you made this great point. Someone could go, why would you work for Prada? Because they have health benefits. Why would you work for Walmart? Because as lame as that is, they have benefits, they have cell phones, and I don't want to come up with that crap myself. Here's an example. My wife and I have been in business together for 8 years. 8 years. We have 3 businesses. We have real estate all over the country. I spend most of my time in my website business. She has always been under a ton of stress. We see the same things. It doesn't stress me at all. This market takes a shit, no problem. I'm going to buy low, sell high, even in my Web 2 business. Mm-hmm. My wife tells me 6 months ago, I'm going to go get a job. I said, why? She said, it's too much. So now she got one of the best jobs out there. She works for WordPress. She works for Automatic now, and she really fought for that job. But I asked her, I said, babe, like she hates punching a clock. She clocks in, she clocks out. Anytime we travel, she has to make sure she clocks in at 8 and clocks out. But she would rather have that pressure and get all of the benefits than this pressure of having to create everything myself. And here's the point. I think everyone can be an entrepreneur. I don't think everyone will. I don't know. That's just my hot take there a little bit. Go ahead, Jarrett. You got something at the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, I've got tons of stuff. Grant, I think you're 100% right. And I think that's why people don't like Bitcoin. If you really got down to it, they like going to a bank and being able to hold the bank manager accountable for their money problems.
That's right.
They don't want to hold themselves accountable. And this goes into every aspect of life. It's why people don't diet. It's why people don't work out. It's just all about self-accountability and discipline. And when you get into really the end of Web3, it's like, well, hey, you lost your CryptoPunks because you forgot your seed phrase or whatever happened to your digital wallet. Now, if you get hacked, that's a completely different thing. And there's a lot of phishing scams out there that are really tough because I've known people who are way smarter than I am, understand Solidity, and they get hacked, right? So this isn't getting hacked has nothing to do with intelligence. So,
agreed.
But I do think you're 100% right. And that's why there's not more entrepreneurs. And I do think as it is now with Web3, it's very entrepreneurial. In the future, it won't be. Because your bank will just provide everything for you anyways, your custody to Bitcoin, and they're going to get their piece, but you're totally fine with it because you can talk to them about your insurance of Bitcoin or whatever. But I wanted to talk about this idea, and I think it was a comment made a little bit earlier, and I don't think we're going to get into it but I do want to come back, Jonathan. He talked about music NFTs. I have stuff for days on this because I think it's absolutely fascinating.
That is
and
interesting.
As creators and podcast creators, I mean, the digital audio and being able to own that is really important. So, Jonathan, I sent you a connection request, but this is what I wanted to show you that I saw the other day because it leads into this idea of ticketing. And then I want to talk about Jay's podcast network. So hopefully bear with me, but this is something I found the other day, and that's Ticketmaster. And they're hiring a product manager for NFT ticketing intelligence.
Yes.
Integrations.
Yes.
So what does that tell us? That tells us that Ticketmaster gets this. This is how this is going to work. They're just going to put everything on chain, and it's going to be easier for them to also support customers, right? So there was that. And then I wanted to talk about Jay's podcast network, because on the chat before we got hopped on, the three of us, and with Victor as the guest today, and Victor, I'm really excited to get your take as someone who's into design and all this. Jay sent us this image, and Grant, if you could probably put it up from your WhatsApp, but this was his idea for his podcast network. These were his logos. He's like, which ones do you guys like? And I have gone ahead with my little whiteboard and I've drawn something up. But what I want to say is, Jay, I don't like the three in this particular rendition, strictly just because, and sorry, I know this is so Web 2. I'm using my phone to a zoom here. I'm a Chelsea fan, and that is three. I believe a telecoms company, and that is the exact same three. You can't cut it. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it, Jay. So I'm sorry, but
you're right.
You can only bring up a problem in life if you have a solution. So Grant, give me back the full screen.
Okay.
This is what I've come up for Jay's podcast network. So
interesting.
It's just focused on the idea, and you don't even need the podcast network on the bottom, but I like how it said Podnet. But if it's just the we, it's the W3, but you don't put the ends on the three, so it just looks like 3 lines down and 3 lines over as the head.
Fun.
So there you go. That's what I came up with as something I
Your tiny little dry erase board.
Hey man, we're changing the world with this erase board. So let me just show you what it looks like without that on the bottom. But that's my into North America's Got Talent. There's my submission.
America's Got Talent.
Yeah, North America's Got Talent, since Jay's up in
North America,
up in the TO.
I like that. Victor, what's your first impressions?
I like it. Jay said, it's different. Yeah, I like it.
So Jay, question on this. So I am a designer, right? Like I have a web design company. We do logos and brands. Yeah. And there's your intuitive reaction. Jarrett was explaining to the audience. Jarrett was explaining this in our WhatsApp before that. Well, what's the Nike factor? What's the swoosh? What's the minimalist factor that at a glance you could recognize what it is? And it's reflected in Jarrett's concept art. Jay, but my question is, did you have a target market in mind when you came up with that logo?
No, not for the logo. I think that the idea was the deepest that we took it was that, the person who's playing a podcast doesn't sort of understand how podcasts work. Like their only connection with the podcast is putting the AirPods in their ear and listening. So a lot of times podcast logos are like a microphone, and that doesn't make any sense because people listening don't know about the microphone. All they know about is the listening pad. So we just put the earphones around a circle.
Yeah, I like that. And real quick, and I'm gonna put an end cap on that real quick. Mark Anthony says Chelsea Y gives Jarrett complete shit, and Kelsey says she loves.
Listen to Boys and Bolos, big Chelsea fan over here. I run a Prem podcast. You're welcome to come on and air your grievances. You're sounding like an Arsenal fan. No one's perfect. Just gonna put that out there.
Kelsey Lips says, love the dry erase board. Kelsey Lips, we love your handle, Kelsey Lips. And Jamarly echoes Jarrett's comment. You don't bring up a problem if you don't have a solution. And that's why I love these guys big time. Jay, going back to this real quick, the reason I asked about this Celsius Holders Perfect Target Market, there you go. Celsius Holders Perfect Target Market. # education, Jay. He's not wrong. So Jay, this is the reason I ask. I mentioned to these guys earlier in this show, actually, I did some work in Haiti. Your logo is very much a Latin Caribbean logo. Like if you look at logos of different lottos or markets, it actually has a lot of vibe. There's some swooshes. There's a planet that's kind of roundy. And if you look at logos and brands, it might speak to, and Africa as well. It might speak to certain brands there. And that's why I asked, because I want to respect it if you had intentionality. But I do agree in Jared's direction, because Jared's direction, it goes for this minimalism that, again, at a glance, people go, okay, I know that logo. And it's more of a modern view. So just food for thought. If you are targeting an audience, that's something to think, like some of these audiences, that's something to think about. But if you're trying to go for a more broad, let's modernize this thing, I do have like a soft spot in my heart for what Jared put together. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm kind of out of there.
Yeah, and I only want on-chain 5% of the royalties, so that's not much.
On-chain, smart contract.
Yeah, just put that in there. That's not a lot. Jay, you're sitting on silver dollars. You're good for it. So
yeah,
I got you.
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I really like the we concept, because I've been talking with a few people about what Web3 actually means, and we've been talking about the fact that we think that the real difference between Web2 and Web3 is really about identity and owning your own identity, and so having that we concept, I think, is pretty cool.
I like that.
Got it. You got at the beer, his beer.
Oh, his beard.
At the beard.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's true. I feel like your beard's iconic, like James Harden iconic. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, the beard's here. And you're like, yeah.
The beard.
Kind of do one of these.
Yeah, bro. Add it to the we. You see how it goes.
Add it to the we, add a beard, and like shut down your entire female. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of the female audience that will love the beard. So you never know. you could play with it. Well, and this is something I actually say in design.
I love it. Yeah.
Now it just looks weird because there's no chin. There's just actually, you know what? Like if we met an alien race and they're like, "Do you know Podmaster Jay?" This is the image I would draw, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy."
That's what what we do in design. We don't actually sell logos anymore. I don't know if you guys deal with this. You sell brands, and brands are a collection of imprints, and that could be like the ball cap imprint of like we, and it's like this homage to Papa Guo J. That's too funny. Well, let's go back to Victor as we look at the time wrapping up real quick. Victor, what is the next project you're absolutely excited about?
Wow.
No pressure though. It's not live and people aren't watching, so.
And it's not financial advice. But like, is it whether it's something you're working on or something you're paying attention to? What's like big on your radar right now?
So right now, I think I mentioned something with Jay. I have some properties in different metaverse. Mm-hmm. So it's like create an ecosystem. Like I will take you Web2 again. When you in the 2008, whatever, you start your own blog, and then you have to post your blog every day. So certain click, Google is coming. Oh, I want to put my ad. So same concept in my lands. Want to bring people, then you have some stats. How many people go to your gallery or to your podcast, and then let's sell the ads, sell the spots. So like Jay, we was talking Jared the other day, is the renting contract. So let's say behind Jay, I want to put African art NFT. Jay, how much it is? Yo, Vic, it's 125 a week. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna have this week, this other week.
Very cool.
Yeah, actually, Victor invited us into his space to host a podcast. I absolutely forgot to tell you guys until just now.
How do you forget to tell us we got invited to that?
We could be doing this in the
You're dropping the ball, guy.
In the metaverse right
I forgot to mention this could have been a cooler episode, but whatever. It's just this.
No,
I forgot we could all be avatars.
If you guys want, I can set up like a specific room and let's make it happen. I think
we'll have to check that out.
We was talking, Jay, and
he showed it to me. Yeah,
it's the other level, bro, of podcasting.
Tomas asked, what are your thoughts on Meta Mansions if you've seen it? Now, we don't have a lot of time to crack this open, but could someone define for us real quick? And Tomas, maybe we'll make this part of the next show. Go ahead, Jarrett.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we just? I think Tomas and his co-founder Adam will probably hop on at some point. So
Okay.
that is something we can look at. I know next
Cool.
week we have Nick Widmer coming up.
Nick
But
Whitmer.
Nick Widmer's coming up. But Victor, before you go, you're talking about renting out stuff. Maybe we could record again and do it from one of the spaces, a
Super
virtual
fun.
or augmented space. What are you doing? And I know you have like a couple minutes here. Can you talk a little bit about the Artist Collective? Because I think we'd be missing out on a
Thank
large
you.
part of what you're doing without the Artist Collective. And I
Yes.
also want to give you a shout out for being an amazing host in Spanish. I was a part of one of Victor's spaces the other day on Twitter, and it was absolutely awesome. And there were people from all over Latin America, which is super cool. So, but Victor, can you talk to a little bit, super briefly, what is the Artist Collective, and maybe kind of pitch that? Because I'm sure that there are people listening that may want to join or learn more about that as they endeavor into Web3.
So, Artist Collective, I'm working with Ken Newton. So we making this platform available, like for all the artists, brands, also, to provide them the tools of minting, promotional content, so for the artists just to make art. Because right now, if you are NFT artist, then you need to make the NFT. They need to you need to go to Twitter to shield your NFT and then go here. So you got to multitask after you create a piece. So for the artist, if you want to create piece, you need to have tranquility to create art. So that's why we provide all the tools necessary. It's from Twitter Space, from minting, we create their own contract, or we have different package. We support the artists all the way in. Example, Liliana, she's one of the artists with us, and she did a collaboration with African Wearables, and I went all in, bro. We did Colombia Moda, one of the biggest fashion show in Latin America. We coming with good surprise, bro. I can't tell here, but you're gonna be Jared. You're
Give me the
gonna be
alpha,
like,
bro. Give me the
wow. Soccer teams. That's the only thing I'm gonna tell you.
We'll
That's
bring
all
you
you
on.
need to say.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
had me
gotta
at
say.
soccer.
So that event, it gives us the opportunity to be exposed, the Artist Collective, Liliana Leon, to all different brandings in Latin America, that maybe people is focusing only Nike and Adidas, but Jared, no, football, soccer is huge, and it's a lot of huge brands over there that people might not know, but we know. So beside artists, we're gonna offer service to brands too, all different Web3, AR, all that craziness. So that's
Very
what we
cool.
work.
Very
But
cool.
the artists, we working with quality artists. It's not like we discriminalize, but we have, you have to tell me what school are you in, previous work, because the artist that I'm working is top artists, and you need to have a balance. We want to be like the Sotheby on Web3.
The what?
Sotheby or Christie.
Oh,
But-
Sotheby's got it. Okay, yes.
Sotheby's, yeah.
So to give the real value to the artist, not taking away from the artist. Like the traditional gallery, they charge you 50%. Imagine,
Mm.
and you don't
So-
get royalties.
So fun question. You said you're doing Santeria readings.
I'm in vacation, but if you need it, let's do it, bro.
So in Santeria readings, can we tell where the market's going to end up next week?
No, because this is not for sure.
Not
That's the
financial
difference.
advice, but
No,
Santeria advice.
No, but it's good. It's good because that's how you see the difference from a priest that is a witch doctor that don't have nothing to do with a fortune teller.
Sure.
So the question you're asking is for a fortune teller in Manhattan. if you come to me, maybe you're gonna get a deep. Most of the people don't get what don't hear what they like to hear.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
it's
appreciate that, man.
but no, it's true, bro. Maybe
Yeah.
because people think, oh no, which doctor in the past was the guy that was healing you? He was not
Yeah.
bringing money to you. He was
Mhm.
making some herbs for your flu, for your wounds,
Yeah.
or for spiritual healing. That
Yes.
fortune telling mixed with Santeria or all different religions that are based on spiritualism
Yeah.
is it's not the truth.
I should have you on my show for State of the Spark because we talk a lot about some parallels that we could probably get into. That's not necessarily crypto or Web3,
Nothing.
but
Yeah.
it kind of is because I think there's some paradigm shifting beyond Web3. I think Web3 shifts are affecting other areas of our lives and in a lot of ways. And I think spirituality and personal development is not lost on us. So Jarrett or Jay, who wants to lead us out?
Ciao, you got it, buddy.
And don't forget biometrics. People don't know biometrics is going to be huge related with NFT.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that's going to take up a large part of the show in the future because the soulbound token thing, we probably need a whole 12-hour
Soulbound token
marathon where we just only talk about it. But if you're listening, thank you so much. Find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter at
Follow us.
Not Crypto Bros. I'm going to go ahead and leave some stuff in this chat on the live stream if you are on LinkedIn. So do that. Please add Victor Rivera on LinkedIn as well. Check out his African art NFT as well as the Artist Collective. And we will see everyone next week, next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
See ya.
Thank you.